Marcus stood at attention in the Great Hall of the Galactic Council's inspection vessel, trying hard to hide his smile. Around him, tall aliens in their formal robes moved with an air of boredom. After all, this was just another routine inspection of a developing world. To them, Earth was nothing special, just another planet taking its first steps into space. Inspector Marcus, Head Counselor Thomas spoke, his blue-tinted skin reflecting the ship's lights. Since you're the only human on our inspection team, please brief us on what to expect from your homeworld. Marcus cleared his throat. Earth has achieved basic space flight capabilities. They have a small station orbiting their planet and have sent primitive probes to nearby planets. He paused, choosing his words carefully. Nothing particularly impressive by Council standards. Several alien inspectors chuckled. One of them, Inspector Robert, waved a three-fingered hand dismissively. Just like every other young species, they probably think their chemical rockets are the peak of technology. The inspection ship dropped out of faster-than-light travel at the edge of the solar system. As per protocol, they would approach Earth slowly, giving the supposedly primitive humans plenty of time to notice them and prepare for first official contact with the Galactic Council. Marcus watched the main screen as Neptune came into view. He knew something the others didn't. He knew about the sensor nets hidden in the gas giant's rings, the stealth platforms disguised as ice chunks, and the quantum communication relays that would have already detected their arrival. Interesting, Inspector Robert muttered, studying his displays. I'm detecting some unusual energy readings from this system's 8th planet. He adjusted some controls. Must be instrument error. These readings suggest advanced power signatures, but that's impossible from such a primitive world. Marcus pretended to look confused. Perhaps it's interference from the planet's magnetic field. Yes, that must be it. Robert agreed quickly, not wanting to appear foolish for suggesting Earth might have advanced technology. The Council ship continued its journey inward. They passed Uranus, then Saturn. Each time, the alien inspectors noticed small anomalies but dismissed them. Marcus remembered the briefing he'd received before joining the Council team. Let them come to their own conclusions. We've waited 50 years for this moment. As they approached the asteroid belt, Head Counselor Thomas called the team together. Remember, we're here to evaluate Earth's readiness for galactic society. Based on our long-range observations, they've barely mastered spaceflight. This should be a quick inspection. Document their progress, give them the standard development guidelines, and move on. Marcus nodded along with the others, but his mind wandered to the hidden shipyards inside Ceres, where Earth's real fleet was stationed. He thought about the quantum fold drives that humans had reverse-engineered from a crashed alien ship 30 years ago. He remembered the diplomatic AI networks that had been secretly monitoring Council communications for decades. Sir, a junior inspector called out suddenly. I'm detecting multiple ships approaching from Mars. Thomas looked annoyed. Probably they're primitive patrol vessels. Remember, show patience. Their chemical rockets will take quite some time to reach us. But sir, the junior inspector's voice trembled slightly. These ships are moving at. That's impossible. The acceleration would kill any living crew. Marcus felt his chest swell with pride. Those would be the new inertial dampeners in action. Technology that even the Council hadn't mastered yet. Incoming transmission, the communication officer announced. Put it through, Thomas ordered, and remember to use simple terms. They're not used to galactic standard communication protocols. The screen lit up, showing the human command center that was far more advanced than anything the Council members expected. The walls gleamed with holographic displays, and the crew wore sleek uniforms with subtle technological enhancements. Greetings, Galactic Council Inspection Team. A calm voice spoke in perfect Council standard language. This is Earth Space Command. We've been expecting you. Please hold your position while we verify your credentials. Marcus couldn't help but grin at the shocked expressions on the alien faces around him. The game was finally up, and Earth was ready to show its true capabilities. Head Counselor Thomas turned to Marcus. his mouth hanging open. "Inspector Marcus, I believe you have some explaining to do." The real inspection was about to begin, but this time, Earth would be doing the surprising. Just as head counselor Thomas was about to question Marcus further, the ship's emergency alarms blared to life. Red lights flashed across the command center as warning messages appeared on every screen. Multiple hostile ships detected. The sensor officer shouted, "They're coming out of the asteroid belt." Through the main viewport, everyone watched as 5 battered-looking vessels emerged from behind a large asteroid. Their hulls were painted with the infamous black and red stripes of the Space Raiders, pirates known for attacking inspection ships. "How unfortunate," Thomas said calmly, not seeming very worried. "Standard protocol, everyone. Power up the defense shields." He turned to Marcus with a slight smile. "Now you'll see how advanced Council technology truly is. These pirates are nothing more than an annoyance." Marcus kept his face neutral, but he knew what was coming. He had read the reports about these particular pirates. The first blast from the pirate ships hit the Council vessels' shields, making them flare bright blue. Thomas yawned, clearly unimpressed. "See, our shields can hold them off for hours. Eventually, our patrol ships will arrive and—" His words were cut short by a massive impact that shook the entire ship. The pirates had somehow bypassed their supposedly impenetrable shields. "Impossible," Robert shouted, his 3 fingers flying across his control panel. "They're using some kind of advanced phase technology. Our shields are useless." The Council members started to panic. Their mighty inspection vessel, which they had thought was invincible, was now vulnerable. The pirates fired again, this time hitting one of the engine sections. "Send out a distress signal," Thomas ordered. "Call for immediate Council military support." Before anyone could act, a new voice came through their communication system. "This is Captain Jane of the Earth Defense Force. Council vessel, please hold position. We have the situation under control." The alien Council members looked at each other in confusion. Marcus struggled to hide his growing smile. "Earth Defense Force." Thomas laughed nervously. "But they're just a primitive." His words died in his throat as space itself seemed to tear open around them. Through these tears came ships unlike anything the Council had ever seen. They were sleek, almost organic in appearance, with hulls that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. "Are those human ships?" Robert whispered in disbelief. The Earth vessels moved with impossible grace, as if they were dancing through space. There were only 3 of them, but they moved so fast they seemed to be everywhere at once. "What kind of propulsion are they using?" one of the junior inspectors asked, staring at his readings in shock. "These acceleration patterns don't make any sense." Marcus finally allowed himself to speak. "Those are the new Mark VII interceptors. First time they're being shown to off-worlders." He pointed to the main screen. "Watch this part. It's my favorite." The lead Earth ship released what looked like small bubbles of light. These bubbles surrounded each pirate vessel, and within seconds, all their systems went dark. The mighty raiders had been disabled without a single destructive shot being fired. "Attention Council vessel." Captain Jane's voice came through again. "Hostile ships have been neutralized. A recovery team is en route to collect them. Do you require any assistance with your engine damage?" Thomas, still trying to process what he had just witnessed, managed to stutter out a response. "And no, thank you. Our systems are functioning adequately." "Understood," Jane replied professionally. "By the way, those weren't really pirates. They were part of our demonstration team. We thought it would be more impressive to show rather than tell." The command center fell silent as the implications sank in. Earth hadn't just defended against an attack. They had orchestrated this entire scenario to showcase their true capabilities. Marcus finally broke the silence. "Head counselor, about that explanation you wanted." He gestured to the disabled pirate ships and the advanced Earth vessels floating gracefully nearby. "I believe our actions speak louder than words. Earth has been keeping some secrets, and were finally ready to share them. Thomas slumped in his chair, his blue skin turning a pale shade of white. "I believe," he said slowly, "we're going to need a different type of inspection form." The Council inspection team stood pressed against the viewing windows of their ship, watching in amazement as more Earth vessels emerged from hidden positions throughout the solar system. Each ship was different from the last, showing off technology that the Council had thought impossible. "Perhaps," Thomas said, his voice shaking slightly, "we should accept Earth's invitation to visit their command center." Marcus nodded, trying not to look too pleased. "I'll arrange the transport. Our shuttle should be here in." A soft chime interrupted him as a section of their floor began to glow with gentle blue light. Thomas jumped back in surprise. "What is that?" Robert asked, pointing at the glowing circle. "That's our transport," Marcus explained. "We call it a light step, much more comfortable than traditional shuttles." Before anyone could object, the lights surrounded them, and in the blink of an eye, they found themselves standing in Earth's main Space Command Center. The room was massive, with windows that showed both real space and enhanced digital overlays. Officers in crisp uniforms worked at stations that seemed to float in midair. Captain Jane walked over to greet them. She was shorter than most of the Council members had expected, but carried herself with quiet confidence. "Welcome to Orbital Command Alpha. I hope our little demonstration earlier wasn't too alarming." "Alarming?" Thomas squeaked, then quickly tried to regain his composure. "I mean, no, not at all. Though I must admit, we have questions." "Of course." Jane smiled and gestured to a large holographic display in the center of the room. "Let's start with the basics. This is Earth's current fleet status." The display lit up, showing hundreds of ships spread throughout the solar system. Some were visible, others were marked as cloaked. The Council members gasped as they saw the true size of Earth's fleet. "Impossible," Robert muttered. "The energy needed to power this many ships would be massive if we used standard power sources." Jane finished for him. She pressed a button, and a small crystal floated up from a nearby pedestal. "This is what we call a fusion pearl. One of these can power a battleship for 10 years. Thomas stared at the tiny crystal. "But the technology for miniature fusion hasn't been invented yet." Marcus stepped in. "Actually, Earth discovered it 20 years ago. We just kept it quiet. Like many other things." The display changed to show one of Earth's ships in detail. Its hull seemed to ripple like water, adapting to space conditions in real time. "Smart metal," Jane explained. "The entire hull is alive in a way. It can repair itself, adjust its shape for better performance, and even absorb certain types of energy attacks." One of the junior inspectors raised his hand like a student. "But what about the crew? The G-forces from your ship's maneuvers would kill any living being." Jane's smile widened. "Would you like to experience our inertial dampening system firsthand?" Before anyone could respond, the entire command center suddenly moved. Through the windows, they could see they were now near Jupiter. A journey that should have taken days had happened in seconds. Yet no one had felt even the slightest movement. Thomas swallowed hard. "That's not possible. Many things you think impossible are simply things you haven't tried to achieve yet," Jane said. "Humanity's greatest strength isn't our technology. It's our imagination. We see possibilities where others see limitations." The display changed again, showing Earth's defense network. Hidden bases on moons, stealth satellites, and automated repair stations filled the solar system like a complex web. "We could have joined the Council years ago," Marcus explained to his fellow inspectors. "But we wanted to be sure we could contribute something meaningful. We didn't want to just take from the galactic community. We wanted to help improve it." Thomas looked around the command center, at the technology that surpassed anything the Council had, and at the humans who had kept it all secret for so long. "I believe," he said slowly, "that the Council's assessment of Earth will need to be completely rewritten. This isn't a primitive species seeking membership. This is—" He paused, searching for the right words. "This is humanity," Jane finished simply. "And we're ready to help make the galaxy a better place, if you'll let us." The council members sat in Earth's briefing room, watching a series of recordings play on the giant screen before them. Each video showed mysterious ships helping various alien species in trouble, ships that they now recognized as disguised human vessels. "This is impossible," Thomas said, leaning forward in his chair. "These incidents, we investigated them all. The ships were never identified." Captain Jane clicked a button, and a new image appeared. It showed a human rescue ship painted in alien colors, helping a damaged council transport near the outer rim of the galaxy. "That's my brother's ship," one of the council members gasped. 3 years ago, when he was stranded in deep space, he said a passing merchant vessel saved him. "It was actually the EDF Recovery Team 6, Marcus explained. "We changed our ship's appearance for each rescue mission. Sometimes we looked like merchants, other times like automated repair drones." The screen switched to another recording. This time it showed Earth ships secretly dropping off medical supplies to planets suffering from plagues. The ships were cloaked, appearing only as brief shadows in the night sky. "The miracle medicines," Robert whispered. "When 15 worlds were dying from the space fever, nobody knew where the cures came from." He turned to Jane. "That was you." Jane nodded. "Our scientists developed the cure within a week, but we couldn't reveal ourselves yet, so we found ways to deliver it secretly." Thomas stood up and walked closer to the screen. "The Ghost Fleet," he said suddenly. "All those stories of mysterious ships appearing out of nowhere, helping people in trouble, then vanishing without a trace." He turned to face the humans. "That was Earth all along. We wanted to help," Marcus said simply. "But we knew the galaxy wasn't ready to know about our true capabilities. Some species might have felt threatened. Others might have tried to steal our technology." The screen showed more footage. Earth ships disguised as space debris, watching over developing worlds. Hidden bases built inside asteroids, ready to help nearby planets in trouble. Tiny stealth probes keeping watch for pirates and smugglers. "For 50 years, Jane continued, we've been preparing, building our fleet, developing our technology, but more importantly, learning about every species in the galaxy, understanding their needs, their fears, their hopes." A new image appeared, showing a massive underground facility on Mars. Inside were thousands of ships, each designed to look like vessels from different alien species. "The Phantom Dock," Jane explained. "When we need to help someone, we pick the right disguise. We become whatever they need us to be, help them, then disappear." Robert raised his hand. 2 months ago, my daughter's school ship lost power near a solar storm. A mysterious vessel appeared, fixed their engines, and vanished. The crew said it looked exactly like an old trading ship from my world. Marcus smiled. "That was the EDF Swift Response Team. We have detailed files on every known ship design in the galaxy. We can copy any of them perfectly." Thomas sat back down, looking overwhelmed. "All this time, Earth wasn't just hiding its power. You were using it to help others. In secret, without asking for anything in return." Jane walked to the center of the room. "We believe that true strength isn't about showing off power. It's about using it wisely. Every time we help someone, we learn something new. About their culture, their technology, their way of thinking." The final image showed Earth's full network of hidden bases, rescue ships, and stealth observers thread throughout the galaxy. It looked like a beautiful web of light, connecting thousands of worlds. "Now you know the truth," Marcus said to his fellow council members. "Earth isn't just ready to join galactic society. We've been part of it all along. We were just waiting for the right moment to step out of the shadows." Thomas looked at the humans with new respect in his eyes. "I think," he said slowly, "we've been looking at this all wrong. We're not here to inspect Earth. We're here to learn from it." Jane smiled. "Then let's begin the real sharing of knowledge." not as inspectors and subjects, but as equals. After all, that's what we've been waiting for all these years. The Earth engineers had prepared a special hangar for the Council's inspection team. Inside, different types of human ships stood ready for examination. Thomas walked around them slowly, touching their smooth hulls with trembling hands. The metal. It's warm, he said in surprise, pulling his hand back quickly when the hull rippled under his touch. Living metal, the head engineer, Adam, explained. We got the basic idea from studying deep-sea creatures on Earth. The hull thinks for itself, heals damage, and can change shape when needed. Robert was scanning one of the smaller ships with his council device. He kept shaking the scanner and hitting it, sure it was broken. This can't be right. The power readings, they're off the charts, but I don't see any engine. Jane walked over and pressed her hand against the ship's side. A panel slid open, revealing a small crystal sphere floating in a field of blue energy. We don't use traditional engines anymore. Each ship is powered by what we call a heart crystal. It's a mix of fusion power and quantum energy. The council members gathered around to look at the crystal. It pulsed with a gentle light, like a beating heart. But that's not the most interesting part, Marcus said, leading them to the next ship. Show them the bridge, Jane. Inside the ship's control room, there were no buttons, no screens, and no control panels. Just comfortable chairs and what looked like simple silver headbands. Where are the controls? Thomas asked, looking confused. Adam picked up one of the headbands. This is the control system. The ship connects directly to the pilot's mind. You think, it responds. Simple, fast, and impossible to hack. To demonstrate, he put on the headband. The entire room came alive with holographic displays. The ship hummed softly, responding to his thoughts. Impossible, one of the junior inspectors whispered. The energy needed for such a system would be massive with standard technology, Jane finished. But we found a better way. We combined the best ideas from every species we've helped over the years. She touched a wall, and it became transparent, showing the complex systems running through the ship. See these blue lines? That's based on technology we learned about while helping a stranded research vessel from the Outer Rim. These golden circuits, inspired by ancient ruins we found on a dead world. Thomas studied the ship's design carefully. You've taken different pieces of technology from across the galaxy and made them work together. But most of these systems should be incompatible. That's humanity's real talent, Marcus explained proudly. We don't just copy ideas, we improve them, combine them in new ways. Where others see conflicts, we see opportunities. The next demonstration was even more impressive. Adam showed them a tiny robot, no bigger than his thumb. This is a repair bot. We have millions of them in each ship. They can fix almost any damage in minutes. To prove it, he made a small scratch on the ship's hull. Within seconds, dozens of tiny robots appeared from nowhere, repaired the damage, and vanished again. The perfect blend of mechanical and biological technology, Jane said. Like everything else we build, it's a combination of different ideas working together. As the tour continued, the council members saw more incredible innovations. Shields that could think and adapt to attacks, weapons that didn't destroy but simply disabled enemy ships, and communication systems that worked across any distance instantly. Finally, Thomas stopped and turned to face the humans. I need to ask, with all this power, why didn't you just announce yourselves to the galaxy? Why hide? Jane smiled gently. Because real progress isn't about showing off who's strongest. It's about helping others grow, learn, and improve. We didn't want to overwhelm anyone or make them feel inferior. Instead, Marcus added, we chose to work from the shadows, helping where we could, learning what we could, and waiting for the right moment to share everything. Adam nodded. After all, the best technology isn't the one that makes others feel small. It's the one that helps lift everyone up together. Looking at the amazing ships around them, The council members finally understood. Earth hadn't just advanced beyond them technologically. It had grown wise enough to use that advancement properly. The main council chamber was in chaos. News of Earth's true capabilities had spread quickly, and now representatives from over 500 alien species filled the giant room. The noise was deafening as everyone tried to speak at once. "Order! Order in the chamber!" Thomas shouted, banging his ceremonial staff on the floor. The room gradually fell silent. On one side of the chamber stood the Earth delegation: Marcus, Jane, and Admiral Peter, the commander of Earth's fleet. They remained calm despite the tension in the room. "This is unacceptable," shouted one of the council leaders, his red scales flashing with anger. "They deceived us all. They spied on us. They saved my people during the Great Plague." Another representative called out, "Those mysterious ships that brought us medicine. Now we know they were human." The debate grew heated again. Some species wanted Earth immediately accepted into the Council's highest ranks. Others demanded investigations into every human action over the past 50 years. Admiral Peter stepped forward, his simple black uniform standing out among the colorful council robes. "May I speak?" he asked quietly, but his voice carried across the chamber. Thomas nodded. "The Council recognizes Admiral Peter of Earth." "Honored representatives," Peter began, "I understand your concerns. Yes, we kept secrets. Yes, we watched and learned. But ask yourselves this: what did we do with our power?" He pressed a button, and the chamber's central display came to life. It showed recordings of Earth ships helping others across the galaxy. "We had the power to conquer, but we chose to protect. We had advanced weapons, but we used them only to defend. We had technology that could have made us rich, but instead, we used it to save lives." The chamber grew quiet as they watched more recordings. Earth ships stopping pirates, delivering aid to disaster zones, protecting innocent lives. Perhaps most importantly, Marcus added, stepping forward to join Peter, "We learned about all of you. Your cultures, your fears, your dreams. We didn't want to just show up one day and announce we were powerful. We wanted to understand how to be good neighbors first." Jane walked to the center of the chamber, carrying a small box. "And now we're ready to share everything we've learned." She opened the box, revealing the crystal database. All our technology, all our discoveries, freely given to the Council. This caused another uproar, but this time of surprise and excitement. The head of the Science Council almost fell out of his chair trying to get a better look at the crystal. "But," Thomas asked, regaining his composure, "why give away such valuable secrets?" "Because they're not meant to be secrets," Jane replied. "Knowledge should be shared. Power should be used to help others. That's what humanity believes." An older council member stood up slowly. Everyone grew quiet. She rarely spoke at meetings. "I remember," she said in a wavering voice, 3 decades ago, when my ship was lost in the dark nebula. A mysterious vessel appeared, guided us to safety, then vanished. We never knew who saved us." She looked at the Earth delegation with tears in her eyes. "Now I can finally say thank you." More stories began to emerge. Dozens of representatives shared tales of mysterious helpers, unknown saviors, and strange ships that appeared just when they were needed most. Finally, Thomas raised his staff for silence. "We must vote on Earth's status in the Council. But first, I have one last question." He turned to Marcus. "Why reveal yourselves now? Why not stay hidden?" Marcus smiled. "Because the galaxy is changing. New threats are coming. We believe it's time for all species to stand together, to face the future as one. Earth is ready to stand with you, not above you." The vote that followed was the fastest in Council history. Earth was not just accepted, they were given a special status as teachers and protectors of the galaxy. As the chamber erupted in cheers, Admiral Peter turned to Jane and Marcus. "Well," he said quietly, "that's Phase 1 complete. Should we tell them about the interdimensional travel project yet?" Jane laughed. "One surprise at a time." Admiral. One surprise at a time. 1 month after Earth's revelation to the Council, the largest space dock ever built floated majestically above Earth's North Pole. It was a joint project, human engineering combined with the best construction teams from 50 different alien species. Marcus stood at the observation deck, watching as the first joint Human Council exploration vessel prepared for launch. The ship was beautiful, its living metal hull shimmering with patterns from 100 different worlds. Quite a sight, isn't it? Jane walked up beside him, now wearing the new Earth Council command uniform. 6 weeks ago, we were hiding in the shadows. Now look at us. Below them, alien engineers worked alongside humans, learning to use the new combined technologies. The Council had been amazed at how quickly humans could teach their advanced systems. "Did you hear about the pirates?" Marcus asked, smiling. "The ones who used to raid the outer colonies." Jane nodded. "They surrendered yesterday. All of them. Just turned themselves in when they heard Earth was sharing its defense technology with everyone." Thomas appeared behind them, looking much more relaxed than he had during the inspection a month ago. "The Council archives have been updated," he announced proudly. "Earth is no longer listed as Developing World 2472. They gave you a new classification, Guardian Species." Through the window, they watched as more ships arrived. Vessels from every corner of the galaxy came to learn, to trade, and to work together. Earth had become the center of a new age of cooperation. "Remember how scared everyone was at first?" Marcus asked. "Now look, there's even a waiting list for species wanting to send their scientists to train here." The massive ship in the dock began to power up. Its heart crystal, larger than any built before, pulsed with blue-white energy. This vessel would carry the first joint exploration team into unknown space. Admiral Peter walked onto the deck, carrying a data tablet. "Latest reports," he said. "The medical technology we shared has already cured diseases on 12 worlds. The defense systems have stopped 3 major conflicts before they could start. And the education programs." "Education programs?" Thomas asked. Jane grinned. "We didn't just share our technology. We're teaching everyone how we think, how to combine different ideas, how to see new possibilities." On the lower decks, classrooms were filled with alien students learning the human way of innovation, not just copying technology, but understanding how to improve it, combine it, make it better. "Launch in 10 minutes, announced the station's AI in multiple languages. The exploration ship's crew began boarding, a mix of humans and aliens, all wearing the same uniform. They would be the first of many teams, seeking new discoveries to benefit everyone. "You know what impresses me most?" Thomas said, watching the crew. "Not your ships, not your technology. It's how you've changed the way we all think about power." Marcus nodded. "Real strength isn't about having the biggest fleet or the most advanced weapons. It's about making the galaxy better for everyone." The ship's engines hummed to life, creating beautiful patterns of light around its hull. In orbit nearby, vessels from 100 worlds watched the historic moment. "Message from Council Central," Admiral Peter announced, reading his tablet. "They're officially renaming this year as Year 1 of the United Era." Jane smiled. "United Era. I like that. Better than the year Earth surprised everyone." The great ship began to move, its systems working in perfect harmony. Human innovation, alien wisdom, and shared dreams all combined into something new. Final preparations complete, the ship's captain announced across all channels. "This is Captain Maria of the Explorer 1, requesting permission for humanity's first official council mission." "Permission granted," Jane and Thomas said together. As the ship engaged its engines, its name became visible on the hull, written in all the languages of the Council. Unitui. Marcus watched the ship rise majestically into space. "You know," he said quietly, 50 years of hiding, of helping from the shadows, of waiting for the right moment. It was all worth it for this." The Unity disappeared in a flash of light, heading for unexplored space. But this time, Humanity wasn't going alone. They were leading the way forward, showing that the greatest power isn't in weapons or technology. It's in working together. Well, Jane said, watching the stars, should we tell them about our time travel experiments now? Everyone laughed. The galaxy's greatest adventure was just beginning.